Hello, my name is Erica Deutsch, and today I'm going to be talking to you about the effects that mood can have on executive functioning. So I'm going to begin by defining cognition and executive functioning and mood and emotion. So executive functioning is considered to be a branch of cognition that requires consciousness and control. It isn't really an umbrella term for cognitive tasks that include inhibition, decision-making, planning, and fluency. It's really considered to be what separates humans from animals and primates. Mood and emotion, there is some debate about the differences between the two in the field, namely how long mood lasts in an individual versus emotion and how people express mood versus emotion. For the sake of simplicity in this experiment and throughout our research, mood and emotion are going to be used interchangeably. Mood and emotion are considered to be more unconscious processes, sort of an automatic reaction to stimuli in the environment or to interpersonal relationships. So throughout history in the psychological field, at the beginning, cognition and emotion were considered to be two separate entities. Richard Lazarus really changed this when he came up with the appraisal theory, which integrated the two pretty seamlessly, although there were other psychologists who sort of refuted the theories that he came up with. Today we're going to be talking about three specific theories. The first theory is called cognitive load, and it states that both positive and negative mood states decrease executive functioning skills. So basically it's saying that whether you're in a positive mood or a negative mood, you're going to be distracted by different thoughts in your brain, which will decrease your capability to perform well on executive functioning tasks. The second theory, called mood as information theory, sort of has an inverse relationship between the effects of positive and negative mood on cognitive tasks. So the mood as information theory states that positive mood will lead to increased functioning on executive functioning tasks that require looking at things requires the individual to look at at the problem from a sort of a holistic standpoint. So instead of paying attention to specific details on the cognitive tasks, you really have to look at it from a whole. So the mood information theory continues to say that negative mood actually increases cognitive tasks that require an individual to look at things in a detailed analytical way. There are some theories behind the reasoning behind this. I would say most commonly it's said that positive mood increases holistic executive functioning because it activates the right hemisphere in the brain, which kind of specializes in looking at things from a relational standpoint, as opposed to activation in the left hemisphere of the brain, which is activated in a negative mood state, and that really deals with looking at things in a more detailed way. So finally, there's the positive mood as a facilitator theory, and this basically states that positive mood will increase executive functioning as a whole, no matter if the executive functioning task is measuring fluency or decision-making or inhibition. Positive mood will increase performance in all of these. And the theory behind this, from a neuroscience standpoint, is that in a positive mood, dopamine is being released into the brain, which increases intrinsic motivation and the reward pathway, and that causes people to want to do better on these cognitive skills, and hence their performance is better. So, these theories in mind, we decided to go through with, we really wanted to find out how positive and negative mood affect people's cognitive capabilities. So, that being said, our hypothesis aligns the most with the mood as information theory. So basically we're predicting that the people in a positive mood will perform better on the verbal fluency tasks that we give them, and people that are in the negative mood will do better on the inhibition task that we give them. And more about these tasks will be explained shortly. So, experiment 1 was in between subject design. Individuals were randomized into 3 separate conditions: positive mood, negative mood, and a neutral condition. Mood was manipulated using a musical stimuli, which We used the Capella Waltz for the positive mood condition and Russia Under the Mongolian Sun for the negative mood condition. The musical stimuli, the effects of the musical stimuli were measured using the PANAS, the Positive and Negative Affect Scale. Individuals rated on a scale from 1 to 5 how they related to 20 different adjectives. 10 of them were positive and 10 of them were negative. So participants filled the PANAS score, or filled out the PANAS before and after their musical stimuli. Additionally, we measured executive functioning through 2 dependent variables, really. We used the Stroop test to measure for inhibition, and the Stroop test involves having words of colors printed in either the same color ink or a different color ink, and then individuals have to choose, they focus on the word, not on the ink color. And it really measures inhibition and sort of dual functioning in inhibition, and being able to separate the two from like semantic and color. And we also measured executive functioning using fluency. So we chose a semantic verbal fluency task, which basically just means that participants were asked to list as many animals as they could think of within a 60-second time frame. We had 46 total participants. The average age was 21 years old. We had 21 female and 25 male. And they were all basically students at UT or somewhere in the Texas region. So the results for experiment 1 were a little disappointing. We had no significant mood effect, meaning that our musical stimuli did not accurately manipulate the mood in each condition. So that being said, we didn't really have any significant results between performance on fluency or inhibition in any of the mood states. Basically because we didn't manipulate mood accurately. So what does this mean? Basically, this means you can go in a lot of different directions. We specifically chose to go in a way that we could manipulate mood. We could actually manipulate mood, so we wanted a stronger stimuli. So even though this was kind of, these were not the results we were planning on getting, and it kind of prevented us from diving further into how mood affects executive functioning, we sort of rolled with it. And so in experiment 2, we were given the opportunity to choose a different musical stimuli, or a different mood stimuli, I'm sorry, and we decided to go with film clips and autobiographical recall. So past research has shown that different mood stimuli have different effects on different people. So film clips and autobiographical recall were 2 of the strongest, and we actually decided to combine the 2 just to have an exaggerated effect, since we actually really did want to see significant results. So that being said, we changed the mood stimuli. Other changes in experiment 2 consisted of simplifying our measurement of executive functioning by taking out the Stroop task. So we're only focusing on verbal fluency now. And also we simplified the PANAS. So we also took out the positive mood condition, so we just focused on negative mood. So that being said, we simplified the PANAS scale because we only needed to focus on negative mood. We were able to take out 10 of the positive adjectives. Like I said, we took out Stroop test, so we continued using the semantic verbal fluency task as a measurement for verbal fluency. And our hypothesis is the same as for experiment 1, but since we're taking out the positive mood condition, it really boils down to individuals manipulated into a negative mood state would have a poor performance on verbal fluency. So in experiment 2, we had 42 participants, 22 female and 20 male, and the average age continued to be 21. It continued to be a between subjects randomized design, and I've already told you about all the variables. The dependent variable is fluency, the independent variable is mood, and we manipulated it with film and autobiographical recall. So the results, we had a significant change in effect between mood states. So that means our mood stimuli worked and our manipulation check was significant. This led to significant results in performance on verbal fluency. So those in a negative mood state listed considerably fewer animals than those in the neutral mood state. So, what does this mean, and what are the implications of this research? Well, basically, it's saying that executive functioning can be affected by mood. It's just you have to be in a strong enough mood. So that was basically what we came up with through our manipulation check in experiment 2. By increasing the effects of the stimuli on mood, we were able to show a difference in cognitive functioning. So this research could be taken in a number of directions. In the future, you could focus on different aspects of cognition, different aspects of mood, and you could definitely play around with the types of mood stimuli or manipulations that you want to use. There's in the emotion aspect, there's inhibition, decision-making, planning, fluency, just to name a few. You could change what kind of emotion you try to manipulate out of people and try to induce. So there's also jealousy, anger, sadness, excitement, anxiety, and then there's so many stimuli out there that might be able to manipulate these moods that you could play around with. Limitations for experiment 2 are basically, we used a lot of animals in our materials. So individuals in the in experiment 2, their verbal fluency was measured by how many animals they could listen 30 seconds. Those in the negative mood state watched The Lion King to induce a negative mood, which dealt with animals. So we weren't sure. Some people are a little more sensitive towards animals than others, so that could have had an effect on our results. Not to mention timing and resources. Although we did have all semester, this type of research could easily be drawn out into probably, an entire thesis that lasted years. So, why does all this matter? Well, I think basically it matters because, obviously cognition and emotion have the ability to completely shape your day, and I think if people realize the type of stimuli that has the ability to negatively affect their cognitive performance throughout the day, maybe they can somehow learn a way to control that and maintain a better quality of life, not to mention the clinical implications. Those with depression are known to ruminate, which can really hinder their daily activities. So with this research in mind, hopefully this information can be applied in many different settings.